I'm Sanjay Mohe from Mindspace Architects. This is the 8th edition of the drawing board competition. There has been wonderful response all these years, and more and more participation happening every year. This year we have a wonderful site for you. This is in Badami, and Badami is known for its rock-cut caves dating back to about 5th to 7th century. So it's not only the rock-cut caves, but there are temples around, and there is a huge lake called Agatsya Lake. So our site is in a proximity to that. So if I show you the site, that's the Agatsya Lake. We have these rock-cut caves. It's a kind of a cliff. So on this cliff, you have this series of caves overlooking into the water and the temple. Our site is on the other side, towards the northern side. Towards the west of the site is a huge ghat, a series of steps. What you see towards the eastern side is Bhutanath temple. Now, the approach to the site is something interesting. You sort of come through this series of houses, low-scale houses with winding roads. And when you come up here, because of the embankment of the lake, with the houses skirting that embankment, you're not even aware of it. So you drive through these smaller lanes and come through one gateway, and there is one huge rock which cantilevers out with a big tree behind, and you just turn around and this entire lake opens up with a temple sitting at the end, almost like a jewel there. What we want you to do is to design an archaeological museum. There is this archaeological museum which is existing on the site, which is about 6,000 square feet of very, very low-key structure. But looking at the potential of that site, we thought that you can do something wonderful there, because it's a dream site for any architect to work on. So imagine that that structure doesn't exist there. So you come through this gateway, there is this big tree and a lake here. This ghat culminates into this small shrine. Imagine this structure not to be there, with this cliff as a background, cascading terraces coming down. You have the cliff on the back. That is the existing structure which you are supposed to demolish. Then there are these levels which cascade down right up to the water. This is a physical boundary of the site which sort of encompasses all this area. So just to give you an idea, this would be the extent of the site, including the small shrine, the edge of the water, the road going through. The road has absolutely minimal traffic, so it is pedestrian dominant road. So we want you to consider the extent of the site right up to the edge of the ghat. So it's more of an experiential kind of a site. Though your built zone would get restricted more towards the upper edge, you can create an intervention right up to the water. Now, there is a physical extent of the site, but if you see the visual extent of the site, it goes all the way up to the Bhutanath temple towards one end with the water in front. You have caves on the other side. And the third very, very important aspect is this pathway which leads up to the rocks. Now there is another gateway. In fact, there are a series of gateways, and you experience this almost like a canyon kind of a structure. So you walk through these cliffs of rocks, and the way they turn, the way the light comes in, and way you climb through and discover those spaces, it's absolutely magical experience. And I had been there during just after my college days, and I have such wonderful memories of that space, and which keep reoccurring. You keep remembering those spaces while designing, and consciously or subconsciously it has influence on your work. And as a student, when you look at this whole site and look at especially that experience of walking through those rocks, that's something which is an unforgettable experience, and I think all of you should really sort of experience that. And how do you sort of relate that experience into this built environment? And that's a challenge. So it's a multifaceted problem. It's not only about the site, it's about the context. It's about relating it to the water edge, relating to the temples which are far off. And there's something about materiality there. You have this beautiful yellowish brown rock which is available. So all the temples, whatever construction, what you see there is all about using that material stone which ages so well, because you see these temples of 5th century and 6th century and they still look so fresh. That material has aged so gracefully over the years. So we would like you to respond to all those elements. How do you use it? How you become sensitive to it? So the structure that you do belongs to that place. It becomes part of the environment. It's not something. So that's the decision which all of you will have to debate about. Whether the structure, which the intervention that you are going to do there, does it have to really make a statement, or should it dissolve into the background and become part of the entire scenario? One more important aspect about experiencing this site is about change of eye level. If you start seeing your eye level changing, you really experience this entire bowl, I would talk about, in a very, very different way. When you are in these caves and looking down into the water, the whole thing looks totally different. When you are at the eye level, at the site, the entire bowl looks totally different. Look at the eye level, look at the site conditions, look at the contours of the site, the trees there, the rocks there, the so many references that you have. And in all this magical space, you see the sunrise and sunset and the way the light changes. So respond to all that and create something wonderful. All the best.